In Werner Vinge's 1993 essay, The Coming Technological Singularity, he foretold a time where technology would grow so much beyond human capacity that eventually it might even birth an artificial intelligence, or AI. Does AI play a role in end-time Bible prophecy or not? We brought an expert on to answer that question. Folks, I'm here with Pastor Billy Crone of Get a Life Media. He's an expert in AI, having written a book, Drones, Artificial Intelligence, and the Coming Human Annihilation, as well as The Final Countdown, Modern Technology. Billy, tell us, are we anywhere near creating an artificial intelligence that thinks and feels all on its own?
Well, I tell you what most people don't realize, Nathan, is artificial intelligence is not coming, it's already here.
Okay.
And it's already here on a massive scale in a multitude of forms, and it's being done by major corporations, governments, and military around the world. In fact, right now, what they're saying is AI is not just here. There's a race going on to create the biggest, baddest, if you will, AI that can then grab control of the other people's AI and then begin to dictate on a global scale everything that happens to the planet. You mentioned that particular resource. I'm currently on another aspect. I'm simply calling it the AI invasion, and that I'm currently teaching on right now live on our Sunday services. And basically, what I'm demonstrating is not just the existence of AI. What is AI? What do you need to create AI? And more importantly, what does the Bible have to deal with AI? And is that a sign that we're living in the last days? Absolutely. But how it's already permeating every aspect you can think of on our planet, whether it be businesses are being taken over by AI, the whole financial structure is being taken over by AI, and I'm talking on a global scale. All of our conveniences, our home securities, all the electronics are being taken over by AI. They're creating what's called smart cities, smart buildings, where everything is micromanaged, and a big brother scheme that you can't even dream of is already being launched with AI on a global basis around the world. Then also AI is taking over the education factor. AI is taking over the agriculture, the food production, if you can. AI, of course, is taking over the buying and selling and on things of that nature. AI, of course, is also beginning to take over aspects like communication, and everything's being done on a global cases. AI is taking over police and military. And again, right now what they're saying is the way of warfare on our planet is completely changing, and most people have no clue. In fact, they're not just making AI automated military equipment on the ground, but in the sea, in the air. They're basically creating this drone technology, and it's already here. It's not coming, it's already here. And it's not just our country, it's militaries around the world. And basically, they don't need humans to fly planes, drive jeeps, supply vehicles, submarines, boats, you name it. They're also combining it with what's called swarm technology. And that's where AI can drive this vehicle. Like, let's say an example we actually give is AI is on this particular vehicle, like a boat, and then they launch 12 of those, and they all have AI controlling them with no humans, but they can communicate with each other, and this is their words. All 12 boats can converge and swarm their prey, and you won't be able to escape. So the AI is not just an individual thing. It's like the Borg, if you will, mindset in Star Trek. It can communicate with each other. And again, it's without human control. And then you're going like, wait a second, that sounds like a Hollywood movie, like Terminator. Absolutely.
Yes, I think a person of interest had two computers that had AI. It was the Samaritan and the Machine, and they had kind of taken on each other. They were controlling everything in the world, but they actually had sentience. Are we talking about sentience here?
Well, and that's the big debate. Is it going to become sentient, like as we know, a consciousness? I don't think not like as we would know humans, because God's the author of life.
Okay. And
only he can do that. But if you want to talk about, and this is what the enemy does, he does false, lying, signs, wonders, counterfeit miracles, right? The enemy always counterfeits God because he's not God. He's not the creator. He wants to act like it, but he can't do it. But these things are mimicking the human brain. And the concern they're having is it's going to go even beyond that. Now, it's not going to be a human brain, but it's going to get so powerful, they believe, that it literally can, and this is their term, it could launch what's called singularity. And singularity is the secular term where they believe that AI robots, machines, military is literally just like Skynet on the Terminator movies premises is actually going to take over the planet. And where they say mankind's destroyed. Now, what's interesting is 2,600 years ago, Daniel prophesied a couple signs to indicate that you're in the end of times. Mm-hmm. And he says there, you're going to see an increase on a global basis, travel to and fro, which is happening right now. But he says there's also going to be an increase of knowledge. And I believe this is where AI comes in. We have so much knowledge, we don't even know what to do with.
Yeah, no wisdom,
and
right?
It's at our fingertips. We're immersed in it. We live it, we eat it, we breathe it, but we take it for granted that this is a major mega sign. You're living the last days. It's not just the knowledge factor. They have terms like knowledge tsunami, knowledge explosion. So we're living it, but the danger is this knowledge begins to surpass human knowledge and then taps into all these systems on a global basis, and it literally could take over the planet. Again, I believe it's going to culminate in the 7-year tribulation. We're gone at the rapture prior, but I also believe that God's going to put a stop to the ultimate singularity event with Jesus Christ coming back at the second coming at the end of the 7-year tribulation.
Excellent. Well, Billy, I was looking at Revelation 13:25, and he was granted power to give breath to the image of the beast, and the image of the beast should both speak and cause as many as would not worship the image of the beast or be killed. In other words, when the one world leader, his false prophet, will set up a living image that people will worship, and it'll actually be able to interact with people. Do you think that's an extension of an AI?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, there's already people who are right to worship an image, even an AI image. There's people out there right now that are basically launching it as a religion. Lewandowski is one of the guys that's promoting this AI church, basically the way the future church is what they call it. And in fact, their words are this: something that's, if you will, 3 billion times smarter than human. What else are you going to call it besides God? Absolutely. And they're going to speak. And this is, listen, like you and I pray to the one and only real God, and we communicate. They say, well, at least this way, when we speak to it, it'll answer back. I mean, the mockery. I mean, think about that. This is what their mindset is. But again, I mean, the also not just mockery; it's a lie. Yeah, because God does speak to us in the Bible. Mm-hmm. You want to know what God thinks on something? You want to know about the past, present, future, what you should do? Read the Bible. So God does speak to us with great clarity. It's just people don't read it. But again, you see the mindset with people. They want to worship something that seems godlike, that's bigger than humanity. And so the mentality for people to interact with an image, very well an AI image type technology, it's already here too. And we see that's going to happen in the 7-year tribulation.
Well, thank you, Billy. Idolatry hasn't changed. It's just gotten more technical. Folks, there's only one true God and his son, Jesus Christ. Put your faith and trust in him and you shall be saved.